believe at that moment Puffy was terrified for his life. I think that he was afraid.
In the wake of a shocking revelation from Al B. Sure, the music world has been thrown into chaos as he uncovers layers of intrigue surrounding the late Angie Stone's final days. It seems that at a pivotal moment, Puffy, better known as Sean Diddy Combs, was gripped by sheer terror, convinced his life hung in the balance. Whispers from that infamous party had turned into accusations, zeroing in on him like spotlights in the dark. Al B. Sure believes Diddy genuinely feared he wouldn't make it through the storm of scrutiny and backlash. This fear wasn't abstract. It stemmed from the unraveling of long-buried secrets that threatened to drag him under. Just days before Angie Stone's untimely end, Al B. Sure dropped a bombshell that ignited the online world, detailing her alleged ties to a shadowy white supremacist group and how those connections unraveled right before her demise. Angie wasn't just any figure in the industry. She was a powerhouse, a trailblazer whose voice shaped neo-soul and R&B for decades. More crucially, she was among the earliest to glimpse the darker, almost otherworldly side of Diddy's persona, what some call his demonic ways. She stepped in, offering guidance and prayer, helping him navigate those turbulent waters for a brief, shining moment. Yet, true to form, he slipped back into his old patterns not long after, leaving those who cared in the dust. Angie's passing came at the worst possible time, mere days after she announced plans to drag Universal Music Group UMG into court over claims they'd siphoned off millions in royalties. No one's outright accusing the label of orchestrating her death, but the timing raises eyebrows so high they're practically touching the ceiling. The sequence of events feels too neatly scripted, like a plot twist in a thriller no one saw coming. Al B. Sure isn't one to mince words. He's laying it all bare, including screenshots of text exchanges where Angie poured out her heart, spilling secrets that could topple empires. From these messages, it's clear she was onto something massive, something that painted her as a target, silenced before she could testify in a bigger sense. Her death, framed as a tragic accident, now looms large as potentially premeditated, a quiet elimination of a voice that knew far too much. As the story unfolds, details of that fateful night emerge like fragments of a shattered mirror, each one reflecting a different angle of horror. Angie had just wrapped a grueling performance, her energy poured into captivating an audience late into the evening. Exhausted but alive with the post-show glow, she climbed into the van with her crew, heading back toward Atlanta around 4 a.m. The highway stretched out dark and endless, Interstate 65 cutting through the Alabama night. Then, catastrophe struck. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van flipped multiple times, a violent tumble that left it wrecked and helpless on its side in the lane. Reports from the scene paint a picture of chaos, metal twisting, glass shattering, bodies jolting inside. Miraculously, or so it seemed at first, Angie and her team were banged up but breathing. Eyewitness accounts and later lawsuits suggest she was conscious, fighting with every ounce of strength to claw her way free from the mangled wreckage. Her hands, scraped and bloodied, pushed against the door, her will unbroken even as pain coursed through her. But then came the second blow, the one that defies coincidence. Out of the pre-dawn gloom, a massive Freightliner Cascadia semi-truck barreled down the interstate, its driver, a 33-year-old from Texas, unable to stop in time. Or was it unable? The truck plowed into the overturned van with devastating force, crumpling it further and sealing fates in an instant. Angie, who had been so close to escape, was ejected or pinned beneath the debris, her body crushed in the final, fatal impact. The other 8 passengers, her bandmates, road crew, the driver, sustained injuries ranging from cuts and bruises to broken bones. But they all survived, rushed to hospitals where they began the slow road to recovery. Angie alone didn't make it. She was pronounced dead at the scene, her light extinguished on that lonely stretch of road. What are the chances of 2 catastrophic events chaining together like this, within minutes, claiming only one life amid a van full of souls? The odds feel astronomical, fueling a firestorm of doubt. This wasn't just bad luck. It echoed too closely other celebrity tragedies, like the eerie parallels some draw to Left Eye from Tail, whose single vehicle flip claimed her as the sole victim in a crash that spared everyone else. To peel back the layers, you have to rewind to the pressures that pushed Angie onto that highway in the witching hour. She was no stranger to the grind, but in her final months, the weight had become crushing. Angie had gone public with a scorching indictment of UMG, her former label, accusing them of systematic theft that robbed her of a fortune built on decades of hits. We're not talking pocket change. Estimates floated around $10 million or more, pilfered through shady accounting, unregistered songs, and diverted. She laid it out plain. The people she'd trusted, attorneys, managers, agents, had failed her spectacularly. They'd mishandled registrations, switched lanes in the fine print, exploited her lack of legal savvy. I'm truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time, she continued, her faith a lifeline in the betrayal. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made supposedly. But instead, she'd kept touring, kept parring herself into stages large and small, because the checks never came. Bruno Mars, Dr. Dre, they sampled her work, built empires on it, and swam in wealth. When you think about all these people that have sampled music, if they're filthy rich on it, what's our problem? She asked, her tone sharpening. Annette chilling closer. I got a team of people, a diesel crew that's really trying to help me navigate things. And if I never get it, at least you heard it from me, because I don't know what they might do to keep from paying me all the money they owe me. Those words, prophetic in hindsight, hung in the air like a warning shot. She knew the risks. The industry had teeth, and she was baring her neck. That very night of the crash, Angie embodied the toll of it all. Fresh off a Mardi Gras gig in Mobile, Alabama, pouring her soul into songs that masked her exhaustion, she boarded that van, body aching from years of non-stop hustle. At 63, she had no business chasing gigs at odd hours, navigating interstates in the dead of night. But survival demanded it. UMG's alleged greed had chained her to the wheel, denying her the retirement she'd earned tenfold. Her daughter, Diamond Stone, and son, Michael D'Angelo Archer, shared with ex-D'Angelo, would later echo this grief in statements, their heartbreak compounded by the injustice. A wrongful death lawsuit filed in September 2025 by her family against the trucking company, van owners, and manufacturers hammered home the details. The semi's collision avoidance system failed catastrophically, blind to the stationary van. Angie, alive and struggling post-flip, met her end in that second strike. The suit seeks damages, but for many, it's less about money and more about accountability for the crash and perhaps for what led her there. The suspicions didn't stop at finances. Angie's world was laced with spiritual warfare she spoke of openly. Just before her death, she revealed a harrowing battle with a blood infection that hospitalized her, nearly claiming her life sooner. I knew it was an attack. I knew it was a spiritual attack on me, she shared in interviews, crediting prayer and divine intervention for her recovery. Doctors cleared the sepsis-like scourge, but the ordeal left scars. Posthumously, Al B. Sure amplified this, posting on social media that the infection was no fluke and industry's opening salvo to neutralize her. His tribute, meant to honor her bravery, instead courted controversy. Starting with heartfelt words, I can't really gather my own thoughts at the moment to say anything close to describing the profoundly brave and amazing woman my sister star Angie Stone was. He pivoted to their private texts, a move that drew swift backlash. So, I'll just let Angie say it to you all in our last text to each other, he wrote, sharing exchanges that delved into her kidney transplant woes. Hey hun, it's Angie Stone reaching out to please give me a call ASAP. A lot of stuff happening regarding this transplant situation. I have 2 possible donors, but they are discriminating against blacks now. It's been 5 years.